we have to extend our gratitude for Dan Brown for being with us here on the MegaCast and to hanging with us as well. But you're the president of Skate More, but I would imagine when I say hanging with us, that's exactly what you and so many others in your industry have been doing since the beginning of this pandemic, is just hanging in and hanging on and trying to survive to the next day.
It's very true. We're hanging on by toenails, fingernails, and anything we can grasp. We're trying to hang on. You're correct.
But with that, give us a little bit of background before we get into the lawsuit. Tell us more about your business, but also the history of your business as well.
We'll certainly appreciate the opportunity. And first of all, I'm happy to be here with you and all your viewers. You mentioned the president of Skate More, but our facility is better known to be Rollhaven Skating Center. Rollhaven Skating Center or Rollhaven Skating Arena is a roller skating rink up in Grand Blanc. And it has been a business and a part of the community for 65 years come this December. And myself and my wife have been owners and operators of that facility since 1990. So we're going to 31 years. Providing roller skating and family entertainment and a place for families to have celebrations and physical activity and skate and have camaraderie and community and the whole bit. So that's, we take great pride in our ability to give back to the community and be a part of the community as a faithful and diligent partner.
So pre-COVID, I would imagine, has your industry gone through changes in general? Because I remember I used to have these gold sparkled ice skates or roller skates, and I had big pom-poms on them, but then everyone went to roller skates, right? The inline skating, and that was the hip thing. So your industry has already been through challenges, just as the community and society has changed, but how has this last curveball hit your industry?
Well, you're right on. I mean, through the history, there's been numerous changes in the industry in that, and just mostly from a perception and participation level. You mentioned your gold glittery skates with the pom-poms, and for sure that was the disco era and some of the heydays and some of the high points of the industry. And every time you turned a corner, there was a roller skating rink. And then shortly after the disco died, if you will, the skating kind of went downhill a bit from a participation level. But then rollerblades came back, or inline skates came in, and that created a whole new vibe to skating. And now we get a great mix of both traditional quad skating and inline skaters and people who have both kinds of skates. And so you have a mix of both. But the one thing that stays true in all of that, inside the skating rinks, it's a great, wholesome, family, engaging, involving sport and entertainment for the family. And it's something they all can do, from the youngest child in the family to mom and dad, and even mamas and grandmas and grandpas, because we still have grandmas and grandpas skating with us through many generations of skaters. And this last one.
The grandmas and grandpas are probably like some of the best skaters, right? Because I'm still struggling with skating backwards, other than doing like the little,
the scissors.
I don't even know what yes. So they're probably teaching their grandkids really how to cut it up out there on the rink, right?
Absolutely. They love doing that. And the mom and grandmas and grandpas are certainly, they kind of grew up with skating as being one of the only things they could do than going to the movie or drive in and that thing in those days. But skating has always been a part of their life, and they get to, from a tradition standpoint, get to transfer that knowledge and experience onto the grandkids. And it's quite fun. Yeah.
Dan, with that, it's also great exercise. I will say, every time, the last few times I've been roller skating, I'm huffing and puffing. You forget, as you get older. But with that though, Dan, if we could jump into the lawsuit. Sure. And survival mode. You're in survival mode right now.
Well, absolutely. And not just me, that every skating rink across the country, and particularly in Michigan here, we have some of their, for just our personal experiences that just recently as last year, we had 2 skating centers that we owned and operated. We now are down to 1. We've lost 1 in we community, and it was been there, a roller skating rink in Owasso that was there for for over 30 some odd years. In fact, I think it's about 45 years now. I believe that facility was there, but we've owned it for a number of years, and then we had to close that facility just to kind of keep things going with our primary facility in Grand Blanc. So we've already lost that, and I still carry on that debt from that facility and carrying that over into the existing business. And it's been a very difficult year. And if we don't get some kind of help or some kind of subsistence in some way that isn't a loan. I mean, loans are great, and we've got those. We've added tremendous amount of money to our to our debt, I should say. Every rink in Michigan has. We've taken on hundreds of thousands of dollars in additional debt just to continue in our industry, and we need some help. But the lawsuit is a little different take on. We're not suggesting in our lawsuit that the governor or the DHSS is wrong. We're not challenging their orders. We just have a different perspective. We want to force some kind of help that sustains our industry and takes care of us and our industry to keep us going.
I will say, looking at this lawsuit versus some of the other ones that have been filed throughout this pandemic, this is a very interesting argument. How successful do you think you will be?
Well, that's the courts will certainly ultimately to decide on that. And I guess for the viewers who are not really familiar with the differences of what our lawsuit about, many of the lawsuits that have been filed with the state or against the state, I should say, regarding the direction was that they were challenging the validity or the constitutionality of the decision to close or to temporary close or take actions against certain industries. That our lawsuit is not about that. Again, as I mentioned, we're not trying to challenge their decisions. We are not experts in the field. We have our own opinions about what is right and what is just, but that's not the case in this lawsuit. Our lawsuit is, okay, fine. You've identified, government, you have decided that our industry, us and bowling centers and some of the other ones, family entertainment centers, are an industry that is a hinge pin or a real important point to to regulate or to close down in order to stop the spread of this pandemic and this virus. So with that concept, okay, we will concede, okay, if that's what you feel, that's fine. But you are also denying our ability to earn a living, which is given to us under the 14th Amendment. We as a society, as a member of the United States, as a citizen of the United States, we have a right to earn a just living. And they are taking that away from us, literally taking away the opportunity. And therein lies the basis of our lawsuit. Yes, you can have the authority to close this down if you choose to, but it's much like in this, they're doing this for the public good. So much like a piece of property, if they take our personal, say, property, a physical property, for the public good, they have to fairly compensate you under the takings law, under the takings decisions that has been held up for many years. They have to just compensate the owners of that property. We contend that by denying us our opportunity to earn a living, they're taking away our ability to earn a living and therefore taking our property. And we want fair and just compensation for that taking. That is the basis of our lawsuit.
It really is a compelling lawsuit. Dan Brown with us here on the MegaCast, and we should mention that you are not only involved in this lawsuit, but it's also some of the bowling alleys across the state as well, because while certain entities have been allowed to reopen, it's at limited capacities and with so many restrictions too that many people feel as if they are not able to actually reopen. And with that, Dan, just another minute with you. Can you talk about the impact that this has had personally on you and your family members?
Well, as I mentioned, I've already lost one business in this as the fallout of this pandemic. And we have taken, now just to keep us going for this 1 year, we have now taken on another $500,000 in debt just to continue and then to upgrade and to put in filtration systems and to clean and to sanitize and to set up processes and policies and physical changes in our facilities just so we can then survive within the pandemic. And then, and so a lot of that money was spent doing that stuff and just to survive, and then we're denied the opportunity to open. So I have we're going down, me and many other skating centers as well as bowling centers lost their entire life savings this last year, just trying to keep their business surviving and alive. And people would say, well, you make all this money, you should be able to. Well, that's not the case.
It really is. And when you look at what so many people, like, we see the numbers, but there are real people behind these numbers, and you're one of those people. You have a compelling argument. The lawsuit has a compelling argument. It's very different than the other ones that we've seen throughout this pandemic, that they have not been successful. But we are wishing you and your team the best of luck. What's next in the lawsuit, by the way?
Well, right now it's been filed in federal court. They will, of course, determine whether or not it'll be heard, and of course they will take at some point entertain argument from both sides. And for that point, it would just move forward. If we'll get the first decision, and if it doesn't go our way, we have opportunities to appeal a little higher. But it's going to have to take the road. We truly believe that's probably going to take us into the Supreme Court in order to get to the final decision on this, because unfortunately, many of the courts that lead up and that we will be arguing in the beginning are elected officials, not suggesting that they are not fair in their litigation when they are in an elected position. But it's difficult because then you got to weigh the political side of that. They have to weigh this political side of the decisions, and that's difficult. We need to get to the law. The law, we believe, is very clear in this taking of a property, and it's not as simple as just land or dirt or a building. It is also about property, and a business is property. And they've taken that away from us, as well as many other businesses. And it will, I'm sure it will be precedent setting. It will be impactful for all states. I think that the state has to be very serious about considering our lawsuit and consider its impact and be fair.
Well, Dan, we so appreciate your time, and you're exactly right when you say that this could set a precedent. And I think so many people outside of the state of Michigan will be watching how this lawsuit unfolds. But in the meantime, we do wish you, as well as your company, the best, and we hope you do survive, because we need people like you and businesses like yours as well. And because sometime I'm going to find those gold roller skates, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to take you on. Maybe you can teach me to skate backwards.
Absolutely can do that, and I'll do it. You'll do it with flair and style with those gold-colored roller skates, and you'll look good doing it as well.
Flair and style, Dan. I like that. Thank you for being with us.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to talk about it. Because we're so many of our employees that we've lost some because of this, and love to get some of these people back to work in a diligent way. We're just so hamstrung right now. We just can't seem to operate well.
We hope
thank you.
so as well.